Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cup Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you are having a fantastic Wednesday wherever we are around the world. And welcome back to our match reaction after Liverpool have just beaten Qarabag by 6-0, and the Reds are through to the last 16 of the Champions League. Pretty much, there's a few English teams that have gone through tonight, isn't there? But what a chaotic last, 10, 15 minutes of all the games around the Champions League. Again, Benfica, I've just watched Benfica completely, steal a playoff spot. But yeah, of course, that's away from Liverpool. But speaking mainly on Liverpool, of course, winning by 6 goals. Again, Liverpool banging in the goals. And once again, looking decent in Europe, which that's been the case for Liverpool this season. We've looked very good in Europe, no matter what this season. And again, we've continued that by beating Qarabag at home as well. But let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments, of course, if you guys haven't seen as well, on who Liverpool could potentially face in the next round of the Champions League. Of course, in the last 16, thank God Liverpool don't have to play any qualifiers or any playoffs, I should say. But Liverpool will play either Club Brugge, Galatasaray, Juventus, or Atletico Madrid in the last 16 of the Champions League. So again, once we know what side of the draw we're on as well, again, it will either be Club Brugge, Galatasaray, Juventus, or Atletico Madrid. Again, who would we want? Again, we've already played Galatasaray. We know how that is away from home. But again, Juventus, Atletico Madrid, there's history there, of course. And obviously Club Brugge, obviously, when you think of them, I automatically think of Simon Mignolet. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts on who you'd want, of course, because out of all of them, I'd probably say Club Brugge. But again, they're all going to be difficult for two-legged ties as well. I believe Liverpool will be at home as well for the first tie, for the second leg as well, but not too sure. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts. But how are we, chat? Big up Cal saying finally we scored more than 2 goals at Anfield. Where's that been as well? Yeah, very, very true. Big up Zane as well saying, yeah, Virgil van Dijk 3 assists tonight. Who would have thought? Yeah, man, Alexis McAllister, 1 touch away, wasn't it, from a hat-trick? Which again, European hat-tricks for Liverpool is a pretty rare thing when you do take things into consideration. It is a very rare achievement for Liverpool Football Club. But big up Ollie as well saying, hi Con, bet you don't swear tonight. No, I won't tonight. But saying that, there's still Newcastle on the weekend, which I'm not looking forward to. Can't lie, don't fancy Atletico away. Yeah, true. Cal, Atletico Madrid away. Atletico and not Club Brugge, sorry. Atletico and Galatasaray I'm not a fan of personally. I don't like the idea again of going away to Galatasaray because again, I think that's PTSD from earlier on this season. But again, it's it could have been worse. At one stage, the way things were looking, it could have been a bit worse for Liverpool. But again, I think all of them really are very tough ties, in my opinion, anyway. Any news on Frimpong? No. That's the big unfortunate for tonight, isn't it? Obviously Jeremy Frimpong getting injured 4 minutes into the game. I believe he's the first Liverpool player in European history, I think since 1985, I think I saw on Twitter, that has been taken off after 4 minutes in a European game, which is some pretty good, going for Liverpool. But unfortunately, Jeremy Frimpong looks to be another bad injury. Hopefully it's not too bad. But again, for the more immediate question, and you have to think about, again, how Liverpool are going to shape up with Newcastle and City coming up now. If we have no right back again, so what do you do? Do you play Dominic Szoboszlai right back, or do you try and shift a couple of people? Where you could possibly play. Again, I don't know who you could play right back for Liverpool. Again, I don't want to see Wataru Endo playing right back for Liverpool against Newcastle and City like he was tonight. Again, tonight you can get away with it. against City and Newcastle, you cannot, and that's going to be interesting to see whether or not Liverpool might dip into the window before it closes. Who knows at this stage, but I don't think so either way. But can't don't answer them words. Please, Atletico Madrid. Yeah, no, it's strong PTSD, isn't it? But yeah, no, and of course, obviously tonight, I'm going to talk obviously mainly tonight. I want to talk about again Florian Wirtz, another goal for Liverpool. Again, no other Prem midfielder in all competitions have got more goal involvement now than Florian Wirtz since the start of December, which again goes to show how good he has been over the last couple of weeks. Again, Maka getting 2 goals, which is great for him. Mo as well getting on the score sheet. I think it's his first goal in 9 games, I think they said on commentary, which again, it's a bit of a shock and surprise. But again, that's how Liverpool have been this season. Of course, Ekitike getting a goal, and of course, Federico Chiesa, which, to be fair, I didn't realise that was his first European goal in 4 years. It's his first Champions League goal. Because I think he may have scored 1 or 2 when Juventus were in the Europa League. But it was his first Champions League goal in 4 seasons, which is crazy, in my opinion as well. But look, at the end of the day, we got the job done. Liverpool only needed realistically a point from tonight's game. But looking how the table went in the end, thank God Liverpool, managed to take out all their anger on Qarabag and obviously try and get the win. Obviously now they ended the table in 3rd place. We will have a look at it in a moment, but of course we did finish in 3rd place. 6 wins out of 8. Obviously the 2 defeats were to PSV and Galatasaray. We scored 20 goals, conceded 8, and a goal difference of plus 12. So better than our Premier League goal difference at this stage as well, and probably more points as well, let's be honest, than what we've had very recently in the league as well. But our free kicks recently as well, Dom and Mo have been absolutely destroying them over the last couple of weeks, which look, long may it continue. I think Dominic Szoboszlai has become one of the best free kick takers in world football at the minute. He's one of the best pen takers because again, everybody knows where he's going, but for some reason, keepers can't get anywhere near it. But I think free kick wise, we are becoming a bit better. And I think in general, I think set piece wise as well, I think we're getting a bit better in terms of defensively and offensively. I think, again, you can't really judge it because, again, it's Qarabag. And again, it's not meaning to be any disrespect towards them. But I think you look at the turn since we've had like the new coach come in and things. Again, there's been a few areas where, again, Bournemouth away, not great but since then, as an overall perspective, Liverpool's done quite decent in that aspect of things. Even Gakpo nearly scored. Gakpo's just Gakpo at this point, isn't he? There's no saving it. There's no like defending it, is it really? Again, I don't want to be negative because again, it's a good win for us tonight, but Gakpo is just Gakpo, isn't he? Not great as per usual. But credit to Endo. Obviously, Endo coming in, playing at right back. Did a decent job, didn't he? I felt sorry for Ali at some point because again, didn't really have anything to do past the 50th minute mark. But again, tonight was all about again getting the job done. Number one. I think number two, again, trying to rest a few players. Arne Slot spoke about how people like Milos Kerkez and there's a few others that are in the red zone in terms of fitness. And I felt like when we were 4-0 up, we could have just rotated straight away. We eventually did, obviously taking Ekitike off and taking Wirtz off. But again, I feel like we could have even done it a bit earlier in terms of the recovery and in terms of, again, not being quicker enough without substitutions, if that makes sense. And again, that's the only real criticism I have of tonight is that. Because again, playing wise, look, for man of the match, it could be anyone. You could give it to Maka, you could give it to friggin' that's all he says, man of the match con. A few contenders, but for me, it's Flo. Yeah, Flo. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it could be Flo, but it could be Dom, could be Virgil, could be Maka. I think Ekatike had a good game as well. But yeah, no, there's definitely a few. Tonight, you possibly give it a Verts. I thought Maka was decent. Obviously, playing as a 6 because again we didn't have Gravenberch because obviously Grav is playing as a centre back at the minute because we don't have another centre back, which again we're not going to talk about that. But still, I thought that again there's multiple, because there's Salaman match for him. I can easily see it. Look, there's definitely a few tonight. The only person I don't think you'd give man of the match to tonight is Alisson. I don't think anyone would be saying that tonight anyway. But again, with Flo, and I want to really talk about Florian Wirtz because again, one goal, another goal, I think is his first Champions League goal in over a year. Not only for Liverpool, obviously for Bayer Leverkusen as well. But I think we're now starting to see once again Florian Wirtz. Again, no matter what position he's in at the minute, he can be Liverpool's best player. And I think tonight now was playing as the 10, wasn't he? Tonight, obviously, because Cody was on the left. I personally think he's at his best when he's in this type of position. But again, that's in Europe. I think in the league, it might be a little bit different because, again, you get a bit more time in Europe compared to the league. But I honestly think the way things are shaping up for the competition, I do think Liverpool have a fantastic chance of winning the Champions League, and I do. Because again, you kind of look at it and go, right now, Liverpool and Spurs will get, like we said, Liverpool or Spurs will either get Juve, Atletico Madrid, Club Brugge, or Galatasaray. Obviously, we don't know in terms of the playoffs. We don't know the whole side of the draw. But even just looking at it, so if you look at the next bracket, for example, so obviously you've got Barcelona and Chelsea, but then Barcelona and Chelsea will either play PSG, Newcastle, Monaco, or Qarabag themselves. So again, like you most likely expect PSG and potentially Newcastle if they're not playing each other again. But I do think Liverpool have a very good chance of again qualifying, and again depends on what side of the group we're on again, because you look at last season, if Liverpool had finished second, obviously Barcelona, I think last season conceded in the last minute, didn't they, against Benfica, which cost them finishing top. So by that, I think you could easily get a good tie again, which I think Liverpool last season were a bit unlucky, of course, playing PSG, but any other time, normally if you finish top, you get a little bit of advantage. But I think Liverpool have got a better draw this year compared to what they had last season, by winning the group, of course. Who do Arsenal and Bayern potentially play? Let's have a look. So Arsenal and Bayern will either play Bayer Leverkusen, Atalanta, Olympiacos, or Dortmund. Dortmund could be a tough game. I know they lost tonight against Inter, but still, I think Dortmund are a very good team to come up against, or difficult team to come up against. I thought the ref was decent. Will we be home or away in the first leg? I think we're away first, but again, I'm not too sure. Really. Haikon, how funny for Real and Trent. So yeah, like again, if anybody watched the end of that Benfica game, crazy. Madrid down to 9 men. Who got sent off for Real Madrid, by the way? I'm going to quickly look now. Asensio and Rodrigo. I know Rodrigo got sent off, but I wasn't sure who the first player it was that got sent off. But even, we'll have a look now at the Champions League table, so you guys can see, and I can see as well, where people finished. So let me quickly zoom in on that so you guys can see, and so I can see as well. With bad eyes. So there we go. So yeah, Arsenal obviously finished top of the Champions League, Bayern Munich second, Liverpool third, Tottenham fourth, which is a bit of a surprise considering how bad they've been in the Premier League, similar to us really. Barcelona fifth, Chelsea sixth, Sporting getting seventh, which is crazy. And obviously Manchester City just making the top 8. Obviously Real Madrid getting knocked out. Inter were a bit unlucky. They were winning 2-0. against Dortmund, but of course they wasn't going to go ahead anyway because of Real Madrid. But then Sporting, I think, won their game in the last minute, which meant they qualified automatically for the last 16. But again, look at the talent group. Like there we go. You guys can see from Benfica down. So you got Madrid 9th, Inter, PSG. Again, PSG not able to qualify into the top 8, which is crazy as the Champions League holders, in my opinion, anyway. Newcastle, Juve, Atletico Madrid, Atalanta, Bayer Leverkusen, Borussia Dortmund, Olympiacos, Club Brugge, Galatasaray, Monaco, Qarabag. Obviously, Bodo Glimt getting into the top 24 as well, which Manchester. I think everybody can thank Manchester City for that last week, because again they went away to Atletico Madrid and beat them as well, which was a very good result for them. Of course, and then Benfica just making it on goal difference. If it wasn't for the goalkeeper who scored, which was vintage Alisson back against West Brom, Marseille would have gone through. So again. Roberto De Zerbi's Marseille is out of the Champions League, which was crazy, if anybody did watch it. But it didn't matter though, like how good the Champions League has been. Because I think everybody was talking about like how the top, the last day, pretty much everyone, I think apart from 3 teams, had something to play for. But yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? But again, goes to show that this format actually works. Look, I know last year I think all of us were a bit pissed off because look, at the end of the day, Liverpool got screwed, didn't they? Last year, realistically. But look, either way, I think that when you look at it, it works and it does work and it's more competitive and that's what you want realistically as well. But Ollie says I heard City could meet Real. Yeah, they could. I'm looking on my phone. They could play Real Madrid, Inter Milan, Bodo Glimt, or Benfica. So again, depending on the draw, it could be an interesting one because, of course, we'll have draws to know which side of the group people are on, and of course who the playoff teams will be playing against. I don't know whether or not if that's on Friday either. So I don't know if it's on Friday or Monday. I think it's on Friday that we find out who, like which side of the tie Liverpool will be on. But even still, like again for City, that's a very again Inter not the easiest. Bodo Glimt beating obviously City as well, but Real Madrid, Benfica as well. But to be fair, look, I'm all for Real Madrid having a downfall as well. Look, they got rid of Xavi Alonso. Again, I'm all for it. That's not lie around it. And plus, Trent in it. Let's not lie around it. But still, speaking on Liverpool though, again, obviously, it's a bit of form now to take into Newcastle, which is the main thing, really. Again, having 2 very difficult games now at home against Newcastle and then Manchester City will be very tough, and it will be. And with the fact that we don't have a right back anymore because, again, Jeremy Frimpong is injured, Connor Bradley is injured, I would most likely think Dom will be right back for Newcastle. But again, tonight, I thought he was decent enough in midfield. I do think with Dom, he should be playing more deeper in the midfield. I think, again, obviously we didn't see Curtis Jones tonight because Curtis is ill, as far as we know. But still, I do think, similar to how we've seen, Curtis playing a bit deeper and Maka playing a bit deeper, I do think Dom's at his best when he's dictating the game a bit more. Again, he's great being further ahead because, again, he can press very high and he's very good at that. But I also think we kind of seen it against Frankfurt earlier in the season where he did dictate the game and, he was on the ball quite a lot. I think he's at his best when he's at that as well. And I've always said to you guys that I think what Liverpool should end up doing is probably putting him alongside a 6 where he will be the guy that will dictate the play. And again, you've got Wirtz then more further ahead that can dictate it even more for going forward. But again, you do miss Dom's, I think, pressing capabilities if you do play him a bit deeper. But again, I don't think Florian Wirtz is awful at pressing. I think sometimes the people around both of them are not so great at pressing. I think Hugo Ekitike needs a bit of work at it. In my honest opinion, even though I do love Hugo, and again, scoring tonight was huge for him. But I do think we do lack our pressing front, especially when Dom's not playing a bit higher as well. But still, it's a positive thing, really. It's not a negative thing. It's a positive thing that we need to improve on and get better at. Because, again, today we kind of proved that, again, you press higher and you're better off for it. Because then you win the ball higher, you get more scoring chances. And again, we took our chances. I think in the first half alone, I think we had like 22 shots in the first half. If I can remember correctly, let me quickly look at the stats for you guys. But yeah, Liverpool had 38 shots today, 12 on target, 10 big chances created, 6 big chances missed, which typical Liverpool. It's not a lie around it either. But again, 89% pass accuracy. But again, looking at the starting positions and looking at the press as well, Liverpool, again, we're playing a lot higher because, again, look at the team we was playing against. But also, I think just that in general, if we play a bit higher and play a bit more riskier, at times, of course, it's not going to work. And I think against better opposition, it's not going to work. But I want us to be a bit more risky in terms of our press and try and be on the front foot. Because, again, we saw again tonight. We, committed people going forward, and we won the ball back, and we managed to be able to, keep hold of the ball and try and, press up higher, and then we overturned the ball and scored from it. I think we did that for, was it Macca's second goal as well? So, again, we're capable of doing it, but just not all the time, which isn't great. Realistically either. And again, XG was 5.6. So, when we talk about Liverpool, pretty much getting it, bang on the door, again, we kind of did that tonight. And in pretty much scoring the 6 goals anyway, because of course Qarabag were kind of looking over their heads in terms of the qualifying position, because again, obviously they were nearly out of the top 24 as well. But again, to answer, to be fair, Ollie, who was your man of the match? Because I know you asked the question. I know that Cal's was man of the match. Cal's was Salah as well, but you didn't put in the chat who you thought it was anyway. But you could give it to a few people. You could give it to, like I said, Flo. Could give it to Dom, Virgil, Macca. Oh no, you did say it was Flo. I just read it back in my head, so apologies. Yeah, Flo for you as well. But look, against Newcastle, I think you probably start the midfield of probably the same, Macca, Dom, and Vert at the minute, because again, we don't have you don't have Gravenberch there at the minute because he's playing centre back because Canate's not here, and Joe Gomez isn't available again, which it looks like Liverpool are going to be without him for a while by the things that were said around him, which isn't great either for not having Joe Gomez around at the minute, because look, we don't have Ibu, of course, due to obvious reasons. But I wonder whether or not against Newcastle could we see could we see Endo back at centre half? I don't think so, because there is even a question mark of, do you potentially put Dom at right back, and if Curtis is okay, do you put Curtis into midfield? And I think that's most likely what we could end up seeing, though, as well, is the fact that Dom would be put at right back, and then Curtis at and Macca as the two 8/6s, and then Flo as the 10. We could see that 100%. But the big one would be City. Well, I say the big one. Both of them are big games. Again, Liverpool are struggling to get top 4 at the minute this season, and we're currently sat in 6th. Which isn't great in terms of the league. But in terms of the Champions League, Liverpool are through to the last 16, which is fantastic news. And again, we don't have to play 2 more games in the freaking qualifiers or playoff rounds, which thank God, of course, anyway. But look, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments. Flo's passing is sublime, and he can score. Joe, we said it. I said it after the Bournemouth game, didn't I? that for me, he needs to shoot a lot more. Because he did that, he had the option, didn't he? He could have passed it to Gakpo again, I think, and he could have passed it to Mo, which I think, last season people would have passed it to Mo, and then tried to see if he could finish it. But he just got his head up and seen the opportunity and took it, and that's where he needs to do a bit more. There was a 2 or 3 chances against Bournemouth where he had that opportunity, like especially the one where he opened it up for himself, and he could have hit it with his left foot and didn't. He kind of tucked it back inside and then passed it on again. And you're like, just take the shot. Have a go. You're a very good finisher. But I think once he starts doing that, again, the goals will just keep on coming because he gets in so many good positions from his dribbling and from his ability to again get around the man and again have an opportunity just from 1 yard of space to get free. And I think Flo can do that. I think he really can again get even better with that over the next couple of weeks. But look, at the minute, for me he's Liverpool's talisman at the minute going forward. He creates, he can score. Since the turn of December, he's been unbelievable for Liverpool, and undroppable really. He's been undroppable for a while, but I think since the November, December time, he has properly turned a corner for Liverpool as well, which is fantastic to see and watch as well. But look, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments. Again, I'll reply back to each and every single one of you down in the comments. So again, let me know your guys' thoughts on the win. Again, Liverpool getting into the last 16 of the Champions League. Like I said, let me know your man of the matches. Of course, your thoughts on the game itself. And of course, who Liverpool could potentially get. We already know in terms of Club Brugge, Galatasaray, Juve, or Atletico Madrid. Let me know who you guys would want down in the comments. But look, hopefully I will be live back tomorrow for you guys, or if not, it will be a video on the channel as usual. But again, make sure you are staying tuned to us. We are, hang on a minute, I will double check before we do end, because I think we are 40 something away from 4.5 K. Let me double check. Where are we? We are 33 away from 4.5K. So again, if we can get there before the end of the season, it'll be pretty good as well. But hopefully, like I said, you guys have a good rest of your day. But I've been Connor from the Cop Council. We'll see you guys a bit later on. Ta-ra.